Hello everyone and welcome back to Greenpine Zoo and Gardens, and welcome back to another episode where we are going to work on our cat house. As we did in the last three episodes, I guess it's been right now. So what happened in last week's episode? We built the first outdoor area for the first cats that actually moved in last week's episode. We have 2 clouded leopards that we are going to visit in a few seconds. So, when I laid down the groundwork for the house, I didn't see that many of the indoor habitats are quite big. So I decided I wanted to have another animal in here, right next to the clouded leopards, because the space for the clouded leopards would have been way too much for 2 individuals. The space that is left would be too small for more than 1 individual, so I decided I wanted to have a single individual of the Amur leopards in the habitat right left to the clouded leopards that we couldn't see right now, but you're going to see it in a few minutes. So in today's episode we are going to build exactly that habitat for the Amur leopard, and I have decided to adopt a male one, which is going to be our Bachelor. I thought, first of all, that we maybe would have an older individual, so that is going to stay in our park until he passes away sometime. But then I thought, no, let's have a Bachelor, and let's say we are waiting for the perfect girl for him. So, the perfect name for the Bachelor came from Fritzelinchen747. She said she wanted him to be called Gentleman. What name would suit a Bachelor better than Gentleman? So, Gentleman is going to move in today and we are creating the outdoor habitat. I decided I wanted to have something different, something that is not too similar to the habitat that we do have already for the clouded leopards. I wanted to have something that is a little bit different, a little bit, to show you something different, or to give you ideas or inspiration or whatever what you can do with habitats for cats. That rhymes, and what rhymes is good. That's a German saying from a TV series from the 70s or 80s. I think it was 70s, not quite sure, but I saw it in the 80s. Well, I wanted to have a special viewing gallery for our guests, and that is what is going to be created right here, right now. So I wanted to extend the habitat right across the heads of our visitors, not so that they can see the animal from down under, but so the animals can, or the animal, because we do have this single individual, the animal can hide over the visitors. So if it has enough of all the visitors and is too stressed, it could go upstairs and just have a rest, and none of our visitors will be able to see the animal. Well, it won't be too easy to see it. Let's say it that way. So that is the plan for our little viewing gallery that is going to be created right here on the left side, right next to the clouded leopards. This idea also came up as I saw that we would have a little bit of a difficulty with the space that we do have for the animals. So the space for one Amur leopard is quite small, let's say it that way. And so I had to come up with an idea to give them, or give him, a little more space, and that was the perfect the perfect thing to do, and the easiest thing to do, and also make it different from the habitat for the clouded leopards. So I told you guys in last week's episode, I guess, that I don't want to be I don't want the habitats to be that similar. So I'm trying to come up with a few ideas from now and then with all the habitats, so that they all look cohesive but still are a little bit different. So there's that. I also told you guys that I was hoping that maybe with the next animal pack or with the next DLC for Planet Zoo we would get another cat that could possibly move into our cat house. But right now it doesn't look that way. So last week on Wednesday there was a new frontier unlocked, and we had some news about Planet Coaster 2 as expected. They were talking about update 3 that was released one day before, and they also told us about a new DLC for Planet Zoo, which is going to be an animal pack. Well, they didn't exactly tell us about it, they just teased a screenshot. Sorry. A screenshot from the promotion picture for the new DLC. We don't know the name of the DLC already, and we don't know any of the animals. I wanted to say exclusively, officially. So what you actually could see on the picture was a coyote or jackal. I don't know, they look very similar, so could be a coyote, could be a jackal. So it is safe to say that we are going to get a jackal or a coyote. There were also some shadow silhouettes of the greater rear. So finally all the big birds are in the game. So we do have the ostrich, we do have the emu, the cassowary, and now we are getting the greater rear as well. Perfect. So if you had a closer look at the picture, there were some little flags on the upper left side with some paintings of animals on that. And there you could see a painting of the bighorn sheep. So that is something that I assume we will also get with the new DLC. Then you could also see painting of flamingos. So now we do have the greater flamingo already in the game, but there are so many subspecies of flamingo as well. So I think, as this might be some kind of an America's pack, so and that we might get Cuba flamingo, Chile flamingo, whatever, a different species of flamingo for sure. And the next animal was quite a little bit difficult to see, as the painting was, it looked like some kind of a birdhouse in a tree, But if you had a closer look, it was clear to see that it was a monkey. So we are getting a new monkey as well. And I assume this monkey that you could see was a white-headed saki. I don't know if it is the correct word in English, but in Germany it is called a Weißgesichtssaki. So that is an animal that we also are getting with the new DLC. One animal is still left in the dark, so most of the time with those animal packs we get about 7 habitat animals and 1 exhibit animal, and so therefore one of the habitat animals is still missing, but I think we are getting some clues or some hints on that within the next few weeks, as the DLC is set to be released somewhat mid-April, so in about 2 weeks. So I'm very excited for that, but as I said, there's not going to be an animal that we are going to include in our cat house this far. Could be that there might be some kind of a smaller cat like the ocelot or something. As I said, one animal still is missing. Maybe it's going to be the ocelot, could also be the coati, which also would be very great, but no fit for our cat house. So yeah, there's that. Exciting news, new DLC coming out mid-April. So what do you guys think about that? I heard or I saw some comments already that complained a little bit that it is once again going to be an animal pack and not a regular DLC with building parts and stuff like that. But we don't know. We don't know for sure, because the last animal pack that we got, the Zookeeper's animal pack, we did get building pieces with it as well. Well, not that much, not as for a regular DLC, but we got some building pieces for that as well. So I assume that it is possible that there's some building parts for this when it comes out as well. But we will see in about 2 weeks. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think about it. If there's an animal in it already that you think this is so cool, I wanted to have that animal so bad. I'm pretty excited for the Great Area. Just because for one single reason, I always wanted to make something like a big South American grassland habitat that you can see in so many zoos. Almost every zoo that I know has some kind of habitat like that. So you see great arias, the capybara, the great anteaters, and what did I forget? Tapirs. Yeah, tapirs as well. The only thing that is missing still for some kind of a huge South America grassland habitat is the greater Mara. That would also be a great addition, but yeah, you never know. You never know. And I'm also curious if this is actually going to be the last DLC that we will see for Planet Zoo. I doubt it. I think there's going to be new DLCs coming within the next months or until the end of this year. Because let's be real, that's actually the only moneymaker that Frontier has at the moment. So there's no paid DLCs coming out for Planet Coaster within the next few months. Jurassic World Evolution 3 still has no release date officially, I guess. No news about the game. We only know that there is going to be a game, but we don't know anything about it. And so the only game or the only major game of Frontier that gives them money is Planet Zoo. So why would they stop that? And people are still playing the game, are still enjoying it, are still buying the DLCs, are still crazy for it. So why stop it? Wouldn't make sense. So I think we are getting future DLCs along the year 2025. And once again, that's just my guess. Nothing official, it's just my guess. So, but let's get back into the habitat for the Amur leopard, for our gentleman. You can see the viewing gallery right there. I really love the viewing gallery. I wanted to work with those dead trees very much because they look really great and make so much sense for a cat habitat, because they are perfect to climb for the animals, to sharpen their claws and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I had to delete the dead trees. You're going to see a few of the dead trees in a few minutes when I'm going to continue building climbing frames for the animals. I'm always saying for the animals. I've never built a habitat for one single animal, so yeah. Yeah, you're going to see a few more of these dead trees as I continue to build the climbing structures for our gentleman. Unfortunately, I saw, as the Amur leopard was in the habitat, that it was not able to climb on those dead trees. Which I found a little bit weird. But yeah. So I had to delete it because I wanted the leopard to be able to go on the upper side, on the top of the viewing platform. And this would have not been possible if I kept the dead tree that is right underneath right now. So this is very sad, because the look of the dead trees is so cool, and as I said, it would have made so much sense and gave so much realism to the habitat for the Amur leopard, but unfortunately didn't work out. So, what are we going to do next week? That's a question that I'm going to ask you guys. How shall we continue? So, we do have the option to go to the left from the clouded leopards, where we could create the habitat for the smaller cats. So I think it was the caracal and the Pallas cat. So we could do that, or we could go on and build habitat for the biggest cats. I just don't know, was it the lions that were right next to the Amur leopard, or was it the tigers? So tigers or lions. Just let me know in the comment section, and I will be happy to build what you guys want to see. So what you just saw was a suggestion that I got in the last video. I think it was from Karsten. Was it from Karsten? I just have to have a look. I think it was him, but I'm not quite sure. No, it was not Karsten. It was Crevanius. Yeah. Crevanius said it would make sense, or it would look even better in the inside of the house if we would have the mulch pieces on the floor. So that we had something more natural, or something like that, and also a little bit more realistic, because you can see that in so many cat houses right now. especially when it's old cat houses like this one that we do have here that get renovated and being a little bit modernized. They do have this mulch floor, so that the animals actually do have natural ground to walk on. So I thought this was a great idea. I was trying it out. I feared a little bit that it's going to be a little bit too dark inside the house if I do the mulch pieces. And I also do have these pieces on the floor where you could clean up the floor easily with water and a sink. Is it called a sink? Yeah, something like that. I think you know what I meant. And so I didn't want to cover that up with the mulch pieces. And I also thought it would be a little bit difficult if we do have the mulch in here and we do have the sink in there. So we would have all the dirt in there and it would get stuck. And yeah, no matter what, I think we are going to work with the mulch pieces, but not for the big cats, but maybe for the smaller ones, so that we might have some kind of a natural or more natural looking habitat for the small cats, for the caracal and the Pallas cat. So I think that would make sense. And yeah, thanks Scrivanius for the idea. We are definitely going to use that, but as I said, we are going to use it for the small cats, but not the big ones. I was a little bit hesitant for the habitat of the Amur leopards with the plants that I put in there. You're going to see that in a few minutes, I guess, when I start with the plants. Right now we have a pretty tropical environment in the whole zoo. We do have many animals, or most of the animals that we do have in here live in Southeast Asia. So it's a very tropical, warm, humid area, and we do have all these tropical plants around here. So we are going to keep the vibe for this zoo, because let's say our zoo is in Southeast Asia. No, our zoo is in Australia. Let's keep it that way. Our zoo is in Australia. So we do have all these tropical plants in here and stuff like that. But I also wanted the habitat for the Amur leopard to be somewhat Amur leopardish. Let's say it like that. So I decided I wanted to go with some boreal plants in here and some different trees, and not going for a tropical environment. So I think the Amur leopard would have been fine with tropical plants in there as well, but I wanted it to be a little bit more like natural for the leopard. So I was going with these trees. They are actually pretty perfect if you want to have smaller ones. Just sink them into the ground and it looks very realistic. So I love to do that, especially when I do huge landscapes and building, creating mountains and stuff like that. You can use those trees. It's called, let me just translate it real quick. Just 1 second. Spruce. The black spruce. Well, you can actually use that when you create mountains and put them on top of the mountains in different heights and sink them into the ground pretty much. So that the mountain actually still does look bigger than it actually is. So you can play with the perspectives there a little bit, which I often do when I create something like that. I told you that before. So the wall in the viewing gallery was a little bit depressing, so I decided I wanted to do a few changes. Therefore I used some of the decal pieces, and I also put down a huge screen that we already do have in the inside of the house. I created a huge screen or copied the screen and created a billboard that we will have on there that gives a little bit information about the Amur Leopard. So we do have some kind of education in there as well. Well, education might be a strong word for the billboard that is going to be in there, but yeah, it looks a lot better. There you go. Well, and the habitat is almost finished. We just need a few enrichment items for Gentleman, and then we are already done. So I hope that our leopard is definitely going to use the upper space on our visitor gallery. I just didn't see him use it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he will at some point, and I'm going to show you guys that. So, but we are already at the end of today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did so, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any further episodes, and also let me know in which way we should continue with our cat house. Should we go left for the smaller cats, or should we go right next to our Amur Leopard and build for the tigers or the lions? Let me know. So, see you next week, guys. Bye.